Chima! You can hang out on those stools, that's totally fine. Do whatever you'd like. It's your night.
The mother sleeps in it. Her mouth open, a hoarse rattle emanating from deep within her throat. She has always been known to sleep with her mouth shut, sometimes clacking her teeth behind sealed lips, chewing on her dreams. Her daughter once laughed at this oddity, teased her for it. Now the mother does not appear to be dreaming. This sleep is marked by drugs, eyelids only half closed. The daughter waves a hand in front of the mother's face, fascinated and alarmed by the half-visible irises, the roomy whites. Galvanized by the words fatal and late stage, she has flown across the globe prepared to nurse, to provide comfort. But now that she is here, she stares and stares at the sleeping mother, thinking, what will we do now? The mother finally stirs, runs a heavy hand over her lips, smacking her tongue to moisten it. Her eyes widen at the sight of her baby girl, then dim even as she smiles. I'm sorry, honey, she says. This wasn't meant for you. On tables flanking the bed are bottles of prescriptions, Ayurvedic creams, a pain log. The daughter, ready for her duties, squirts cream into her palm. She pulls her mother's legs free from the bed covers, massages each where fluid has collected, stretch the skin taut. She is horrified by these legs, by the lifeless, pale yellow of them, but she does not betray this. Instead, she frowns as though concentrating. The mother protests, says it's not necessary, but the daughter continues to work. The father watches, his usually brown skin now blotched and gray. I bought her I Love Lucy, the complete series, he tells the daughter. He sits on the makeshift bed he has built for himself in the bay window in order to be near his wife. Since their wedding day 33 years earlier, he has rarely slept without her. In the night, he must now sometimes bring her water and help her to the bathroom. Often he holds her hand in the dark when she has nodded off. He dreads the solitude of these moments, but is slowly learning to endure it. In the mornings, they scribble in journals, each of them, the mother, the father, the daughter. They feel the need to record everything, jokes, wise words, favorite memories. That's a good one, they say. Let's write that down. They recall old stories more vividly now, with less embellishment, trying their best to get it right. They all grin because they're having more fun together than they have in years. Sometimes, in the afternoons, friends and family visit. We're praying for you, they tell the mother, their voices somber, their heads cocked mournfully. Scripted solemnity, the mother calls it, and one person actually does script it in a 32-verse poem that she insists on reciting. Another prays. Yet another delivers hemp powder and a crate full of cantaloupes, sits down and maps out a strict diet involving only these 2 ingredients. At each occasion, the mother sits up in her bed, regards the father and the daughter with frank amusement just shy of rolling her eyes, calls for tea to be made, for cookies to be set out on plates. It is a strain, requires the reserves of her energy to lift the mood, but she is always successful. She asks her guests many questions about their lives, their hopes, and they tell her everything, the room warm with the feeling of good fortune. The days, then weeks, pass in this way, and the daughter begins to believe this could go on forever. The refrigerator is empty. The father makes a grocery list, grabs his keys, heads for the door. The daughter watches him go, her limbs weak with a sudden lethargy. She also wishes for the chance to leave the house, to breathe a different air. I'm tired, she says to no one, but these are not the right words. It's past lunch, so the daughter eats a quick sandwich, and although the mother has not complained of hunger, she cuts an apple and slices cheese, arranges the wedges on a small plate, pours a glass of sparkling water, takes everything to the sickbed. The mother eats half before setting aside the plate. She doesn't drink the water. Settled in a recliner, the daughter reads a novel. Soon she is sleeping, and her book falls closed on her lap. She can feel her head lolling to the side, but is too exhausted to get up for a pillow. She dreams of grass, long, the kind that undulates on hills like waves at sea. The grass appears soft, fine like rabbit's fur, but when she sets her feet upon it, she is disappointed to discover it is coarse. Jolted awake by the urgency in her mother's voice, at once the daughter is on her feet. She is not scared, not yet. She is just ready. My bucket, the mother points. The daughter scrambles, shoves the container below the mother's chin, and instantly the air is rancid. Suppressing a gag, she wishes to cover her mouth, but she does not. Instead, she sits beside her mother, rubs her back. The mother leans in, lets her head fall against the daughter's breast. They don't move for a long while. The daughter, whose body has grown numb, refuses to shift, even slightly, eyes averted from the contents of the bucket. After a time, the mother murmurs, "Can we stay like this?" The daughter nods. "You don't ever have to move." The mother has not been eating much of late. As if overnight, her bones have suctioned her skin, now waxy and sallow, causing her eyes and cheeks to sink, her nose, chin, and eyebrow ridge to jut forth. She wears a scarf, an oversized sweatshirt, pajama pants, and thick wool socks. There is always a draft. The mood takes an upswing when she does eat, so she does her best to force down small bits of fruit and bread. The father and daughter grow hopeful during the rare occasions when the smallest bit of food disappears off her plate, particularly when it seems as though it will stay down. She ate more today, they say, placing the dirty dishes in the kitchen sink. They keep a list of foods she still likes, concoct creative recipes, new ways for her to stomach them. They've tried to limit guests now, but people insist on dropping by. One neighbor wishes to share news of a new meditation practice that has proven to cure 92% of apparently hopeless cases. The mother shifts onto her side, refuses to participate, clutches the edge of her pillow. The daughter is convinced these visitors talk amongst themselves, that they keep a competitive tally of how many times they've brought homemade soup or flowers. The flowers are the worst. The living room smells nauseatingly sweet. Petals litter the carpet. She needs good energy, needs to be surrounded by it. That must be what they say. They don't seem to consider that what the mother needs most is their absence, a chance to replenish her reserves. The daughter wonders if this also applies to her, is suddenly aware of every moment she has ever spent with her mother, is aware of how much she has taken, of how little she has given. Mom, can you help? Mom, I need you. Mom, mom, mom. Thank you.
The title that I have also used, the cool one. That was harrowing, thank you. I feel like anybody whose family has ever been touched by a cold, sick hand understands those scenes. And I feel like the way that the language that you used wasn't sentimental or manipulative. It was very factual and clean. And that cleanliness, like using clean and direct language to communicate around illness, is very, like, deeply effective for me anyway. So thank you for that. Thank you for it's like a different kind of heartbreak, you know. It's a bleachy heartbreak. So, like, even from the beginning when you spoke about sleep marked by drugs, like the roomy whites of her eyes, how she was galvanized by the words late stages, like, that is all you need to say. You don't need to, like, you didn't need to drop any ugly diagnosis. The implication was enough. That was, like, just, I felt that right through me. And the inappropriate actions of grief that other people who aren't directly, but, like, you know, affected by it in, like, later ripples, like, pull out, like people rocking up with, like, all this meditation bullshit, and it's like, yeah, thanks. That is also stark and true. It's haunting. Like, you use the word rancid air, you use the phrase rancid air, and I felt like that just was like a sledgehammer, because that is what happens, you know, that's the change in temperature when people who are ill experience things that you bear witness to. The flowers are the worst. The flowers are terrible. Yeah, thank you. That was harrowing. Yeah, that was great. Thank you. Cheers.
Sarah Marie Grip, thank you very much for doing that for me. And then we'll get your button for Amrit's performance.
Yeah, as the performance judge, bear in mind that the performance doesn't begin when you start the performance, it begins when you come on stage, and I think both people were good illustrations of that this evening. We'll come back to Joshua. But as for Amrit, she walks out on stage with a big fat book, and I'm thinking, I bet she wrote that book, probably, or else it's an anthology, and I bet she's in that book, and it's, yeah. And she's probably going to be reading from it, but then she's like, oh, I don't have to read from this book. I'll put that aside and read off paper like all the other readers to date. And also read a short story that I just wrote, she says. So we don't know if that's even been published. So again, I'm feeling, as an unpublished person myself, a special kinship with this reader. Thank you. Sorry, I lost my place. Oh, and after my comment, the reason she might have chosen this piece, which she might have just picked at intermission, because in the first half I commented on Earl McCartney's use of the word rhizome, and she used the word roomy, which Griff mentioned as well. Another R word with a silent H, and I'm like, that's the way to pander to a judge. Right there. He expresses his interest in the first half. I'm going to pay attention, so when my performance comes, I can choose something that will go right to his hotspot. If she had said anything about, like, the bleached hairs at the base of the neck, then I would have just, like, walked off the stage right then. I've already picked my winner. There's a fan playing in the background, and I realized that her piece was the only one tonight where I never noticed the fan. So that says something.
Wow.
And then also she came in at 6 minutes, 58.7 seconds. How much practice do you have to do for a 7-minute piece to bring it in 1.3 seconds beforehand without making it sound over-rehearsed?
Amazing. Thank you very much, Kurt Bud, with performance. And now, Jules Posner with Amrit Chima.
Yeah, I thought your curls were nice. When you were talking, they would like go up and down with your head, and that was cool. You said undulate, which was like, I didn't even know how to spell that, so that was tight. Is that humiliating? Should I not say that? Like, I can't spell undulate. Okay. It's spelled wrong in my notebook, for sure. And being from San Francisco, I can really feel like the tenseness of someone accosting you with a 32-verse poem. It's like, hey, do you want to hear my 32-verse poem? It's like, god damn it, I guess. And then they like go into it and you're like, I don't even know if this is good. But I'll give you a pat on the back. Because that's what you do. You want to encourage your... Okay. The fridge being empty, I really like that visual. It really reminded me of my life because I ate 3 separate cans of soup for dinner last week. So I guess I'm about to die. Rancid, Room Smell. Rancid's just a great band. I really like them. And well, the first 2 albums, everything after can go to hell. And sparkling water, man, I'm like addicted to sparkling water, so that really hit close to home. You know, I woke up at midnight one night, woke up, had a bed to get some more sparkling water, and I realized I like kind of had a problem with sparkling water, you know, because it's like, I'm addicted to the shit, and I know that like I'm an addict because like I woke up to get it and I cut my finger on this bottle of Perrier. And that had to be the whitest injury ever suffered. So thank you for putting that visual back in my head.
Jules Posner with Intangibles. Thank you very much. And now back to Sam.